everybody, it's Erin Reed and welcome to my fun challenge, and it is the Plain Box Society. So Tina Walker asked a whole bunch of us if we were interested in decorating a box. And you could do whatever we want. We could actually cut the box, we could decorate the box, we could do so many fun things with this box. And so she sent this in the mail to us, and here is the box. And it's a flat box. I think it's actually got sent like this. And then we were able to do what we want, and there's a whole bunch of us. You've got to go check out what these look like. They are so stinking cool. So there's a link to my blog, and then from that you guys can check, and I'll also put the link to where you guys can see everybody else's inspiration. It'll be sent to Tina Walker's site where you can see what everybody else did with these fun boxes. And the only stipulation we had besides using the box was to use Stencil Girl stencils. So that was our goal that we were given. We were given a goal of using the box and using the stencil, and everything else was fair game. So since I kind of got the inspiration, I still had some of the tissue paper left over from when I made my flowers. This is actually from newspaper. So these are my newspaper flowers that I made a while ago. It was taking newspapers, rolling them up, and adding mist. And I still have a little bit, I'm getting kind of low, but I still have a little bit of that mist left over. And I also made some tissue flowers. So check up in the iCard about how to make these cool flowers. And we're actually going to use this flower on the box as kind of a fun thing. So, but first, what we're going to do is I'm taking some of my tissue paper, and in the back I have put my craft mat so I do not make my surface all disgusting. Sorry about the banging. There's a lot happening in my house today. What I'm going to basically do is I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 6 sides. And I think I can get 6 sides out of this. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take this and I'm actually going to glue it to here. So they're a little less than 3 by 3. So 3 times 6 is 18. I think I can get that out of here because I think each one of these these things is a 3 by 3. But I don't want it to look like this is a perfect match on top of there. I want it to look very kind of haphazard. So what I have grabbed is I have grabbed my platinum modeling paste from Crafter's Workshop. I love this, it's so pretty. And we're actually going to be applying this to the tissue paper. Just something different. Instead of paper, let's just do something different. It's got a different texture to it. It's got a different feel to it. I mean, why not? And I'm just going to use my little spatula here and just coat the whole thing. So you're still going to see some of the tissue kind of popping through. And I'm going to go ahead and just cover up this entire stencil piece here. All right, so whenever you're applying any kind of paste or anything to a stencil, you want to make sure it doesn't leave floppy. It's nice and smooth and clean. So when you remove your stencil, it has some beautiful lines. I was not perfect with it, and it's on tissue paper, and it kind of shifted. So I got some spots that aren't perfect, but you know, that doesn't bother me at all. So I'm going to go pop this actually into my sink right now. I'm not going to wash it, but I'm going to pop it into my sink so the modeling paste doesn't stick to my stencil. And I might as well throw in my brush as well. So at this point, I'm just going to do a light dry with my heat gun just to kind of get it set a tiny bit. And then I'm going to pull it off to the side, and we're going to do another stage of our box. I know from the camera angle it's kind of hard to see. Me if I can angle this up. You can kind of see the stars right now. It looks kind of cool. I mean, from my angle it looks really cool. But from your angle it's kind of hard. Okay, setting that off to the side, I am now going to grab and take my box and a paintbrush. I want to bring a little bit more of the color of the dragonfly. So right along all the edges, and I'm actually going to paint this on. I am taking some of that dragonfly. I do not have a ton left, so I don't want to miss the whole box. Plus, I don't want to oversaturate it. There's going to be some sections kind of right here at the joints that are going to be open. So I'm just coming in and painting to kind of bring a little bit of that color into the box itself. So I'm just going to come in, get a little bit more of the mist. There's nothing wrong with painting mist on. Nothing says that you have to. I'm going to do this entire front flap because I'm not going to bother trying to add any tissue paper to that. Same with this flap here. There's nothing that says that you have to always mist with it. There's so many fun techniques that you can do with glimmer mist. I love it. And down below, don't also forget that there's going to be, I'm going to go ahead and do this entire bottom flap. I don't know how much is going to get shown and what's tucked under and what. There's going to be links to all the supplies that we're using for this project, so you guys can check that out. So I'm hitting all the edges. The center I'm not worried about. You might see a teeny bit of the center, but I'm not going to fret over that. Make it look haphazard. This is not going to be what I would call a clean project. Oops, something funky got stuck to that. So it's supposed to be like a mixed media, just kind of whatever. So when I assemble the box, I definitely find some spots. It's kind of like I missed this whole section right in here. So when it gets open, I missed this inside flap here. So I wanted to paint it while it was open. You know what? Since I'm at it, I might as well paint the whole inside. Just really rush. Really just kind of haphazard in here. All right, I think I've got most of my box now. Now it is still kind of wet. So I'm gonna dry this as best as I can. Alright, I'm gonna save my brush and my mist off the side. I also pulled an iron, a chalkboard. I don't know if I'm gonna use it, but it's there if I want it. Just pick up some of that extra. This is already covered in all that mist anyway. This is how I got my hands all gross the other day too. Oh, I never seem to deal with mist and have dry hands. Okay, it's not perfectly dry, but it's dry enough. All right, next stage, we're going to cut up our tissue paper. All right, we're going to stick this entire stuff down, all of the layers here, with my white school glue from Supertite. Links are down below where you can get a coupon code are going to be down there. This stuff is awesome. We're going to treat it like a decoupage, kind of a decoupage. On the brush, on this, there is actually a little bit of an applicator that can act as a brush, but I pulled up my spatula just in case. I think this is going to do the job for me, which is perfect. All right, so as I remembered seeing, I don't want to cut, I think I'm going to cut these kind of funny. So we're going to do our best, or I'm going to do my best to try and cut these to be right about the 3x3 size. This picks up any of the mist from below. You know, it's all fun and games. It's cool. Everybody's having fun in the pool kind of thing. I'm going to trim a little bit off the edges because I don't want this to be like each little starburst square goes on there. It's not the feel I'm going for. So I got to trim off. So I'm kind of cutting it funny. Remember, all I got to do is get 6. So I'm just going to trim off so I don't have any weird sections. There we go. I'm actually going to cut this to be a strip. Let's see, so if I can fit this right here. I'm doing this kind of a awkward way because I don't want every square to be the same. So I don't want to cut strips. So for this section, see, it's still not 100% dry. That's okay. It'll work. I'm going to add here, and then I'm going to cut here. There we go. It's a little bit, and I don't want this to look perfect either. This is supposed to look kind of messy, and I don't want my squares that I'm adding on to be perfection either. I want this to look like it's just kind of all over the place. So I'm going to pull out my glue jar, and I should have had this resting over underneath here, but I think I can get it going. So I'm going to take my glue, and this is that little applicator I was showing you guys. So it runs, it dries clear, so I'm not worried about it. And I'm running it all along here, a little bit in the centers. Don't be afraid to pull out your kids' school glue. And this stuff rocks. It's actually one of the better glues, and it's super safe. I love the fact it doesn't have a lot of stuff in it, which is great. So here I am. I'm just going to place this on here. I'm not going to there's a section right here that's still wet. Oh, you know what I just realized? You can completely see the inside that does not have color. That's going to bug me. It's too translucent, so we're going to set this guy back down. You know, sometimes you got to do a trial to find out, so we got to do some more painting. Let's just set that guy off to the side. Really quick, paint in all the sections I hadn't done. It won't take long. There's hardly any that have any. Really cool, super quick paint job. That's going to drive me nuts so I can see right through that. I hardly left any that didn't have any on there. So sometimes you find things that are kind of interesting. Wherever the glue was, acted as a resist. That's kind of cool. I mean, I kind of knew that already, but that's kind of a fun technique to think about in the future. I'm going to really quickly spot dry this so that way it's not super saturated when I put my glue on. All right, so now I gotta reapply my glue here because I just added stuff all on top. See, look how fast and easy that was. And then reapply this. Probably still had enough adhesive on there, but I just want to make sure. I really want to get this on centered so it's not off. Really kind of fit this onto each square, pat it down, and that's what we're doing. So we're going to do the same thing for the next, but I don't want to have the same design. So I just pulled more of this time. For this next side, I'm going to pull more from this side. So I'm going to cut through here and up here. Double check my size. I'm a little bit too long. See, again, I'm being super perfection here on how I'm applying. There we go. One little section's a little too long. And then it just looks like tissue paper with these cool lines on here that are kind of going in all fun directions. There's no set pattern because I'm cutting up the tissue paper with that stencil instead of keeping each starburst. I'm kind of breaking it up a bit. Add some more of my glue here. Careful not to cover this section up right here. So I want to, there's a lip. So I really don't even need that palette knife because this little applicator at the top is doing a perfect job. So I'm going to come in here, apply my tissue paper. If it kind of comes over the edge, just get it over the edge. If there's a little bit of extra glue, use my finger to kind of like decoupage it on there basically. And then I'm going to come in just kind of tearing out right here, right where that little loop is. And then tucking down the edges so you can see that. I don't want to cover that little part of the box up. And then pushing that back down. So it's just this little hint of green there. So I'm going to continue doing that, but I will speed this part up for you guys. So I'm now going to come in and I'm going to cut off another section and continue and also do the bottom. And the bottom, the whole point is so that it helps kind of glue the box together and so it helps it form and stay as a box. All right, so I've got all, let me pop these back in. And I did go ahead and cover the bottom. So when I did that, if you guys notice, I kind of put my hand in there and just kind of pushed it down. This stage, I think I'm going to go ahead and add a little of that black. So I'm just going to come in, just as another texture on here. I'm going to flip. I'm not doing the bottom, there's no point. There, I hit all the sides. And then I am going to heat set this fast. All right, so now I've heat set this whole thing, and I get it to the point when I heat set, because I already love all the textures that are on here, I get it to the point where the paint is bubbling and bursting, and it's got all kinds of cool texture to all the paints. It's kind of hard to see with the light right now. But you can kind of see that there's some texture. There'll be some up-close pictures at the end of the video so you guys can see that. So I've got these stars left over. They're like punched out from a Vernia foil paper out of a previous project I did on a card. And so I had them just kind of sitting off my desk. I thought, oh, they look kind of cool in here. But the first thing I want to do is I want to add my flower to the top. So I'm just going to coat with a lot of the glue and stick it on there. Just really push it on there. It's going to set. So I'm not going to bother putting any of the stars on the top. I'm just going to do it on the 4 sides. And I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 11. So I've got 2 to 3. A little bit of glue. Pick up with my finger. And just kind of place a couple of stars on each side. And there it is, my cute little box. Very simple. I mean, it's not simple. There's lots of layers here. You know, your adding layers on tissue paper, you're coloring the box. We did a flower. I didn't show you how to do the flower this video, but there is a video about how to make this flower. So there's nothing wrong with making a whole bunch of something. I think I made a dozen flowers, and I just pulled one, the one that fit perfectly on top of the box, which is also the inspiration behind the color scheme behind this entire box. So I'm just playing around. I also, left over from a previous card I made, I had these little pieces kind of sitting off to the side. I had these little swirls and gems left over. And I thought about adding them to the top, just kind of poking out from underneath the flower, and you're not going to see a lot of it. So, you know, what if you had just like a little, and I'm just going to add them. At this point, there's really nothing I can do that's going to mess this box up unless I smash it. Because my flower is not stuck permanently on there yet, I can kind of still lift up and tuck under because it's still kind of setting. So I'm just going to keep adding these little pieces to the top here. So here we go, just added some of the little gems, kind of the little pearls, just hinting around the edges of this just to add a little something. And I think we are done. This has got to finish setting. It's got to finish gluing. I love the sides of the box. I think they're so pretty. The little swirls on top of the flower. It's just so cute. And now when it's dry, it'll open up and I have a little box that I can use for whatever. It's just a little fun box. And it's playing with art, playing with my stuff. Don't forget to check out all the other people that are doing our Decorate the Box projects. I don't want to mess with the flower too much, but you'll see pictures at the end of what it looks like. And I'll have links down below. Also links to where you can get all the supplies. And don't forget your links for your coupon code for your Supertite adhesive, which is already at a really low rate. And also it's amazing. So thanks so much for stopping by. Don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you guys again soon. Bye-bye.